think a lot of people in life are afraid to ask for things. I think they're afraid of the unknown and not knowing how someone will answer them. But I found throughout life that if you ask, people are so willing to help. There's this generosity and this desire for people to want to be a part of something and to help out. So David in Psalm 70 verse 1 says this, "Please, God, rescue me. Come quickly, Lord, and help me." David is asking. He's pleading with God. He's begging God, rescue me, help me. And when you think of that term rescue, it's usually something that needs to happen. It's very urgent. Someone's trapped. Someone needs help. Someone needs to get out of something quickly, but needs someone to come and help them in that situation. And that's what David is asking God to do. There are multiple areas in this life that we need to be rescued from. We need to be rescued physically sometimes, maybe being bullied at school or something like that. Mentally, depression is a big thing. The lies that we believe about ourselves and about this world, and then spiritually rescued. And let me give you an example of each of those. Physical rescue. When I was 8 years old, I went to this hill just a couple blocks from my house. It was a steep hill, and I brought my skateboard. And it was steep enough I wasn't going to ride it down standing up, but I would sit on it, and I'd go down, and I'd get all this speed, and there were these two cracks at the end that were staggered. And if you could just weave it perfectly, it was great. And it was fun. It was a great challenge. But if you hit one of those cracks, that skateboard stopped dead, and you would skid on your rear for a few feet. I'd just gone down. It was great, and I was walking up, and these two kids start coming towards me on their bikes. They were older than me. They started surrounding me. They were kind of starting to bully me verbally and those things, and I didn't know what to do. I started to panic a little bit, and I was like, what can I do? And I looked over, and I saw this old lady in her backyard, and I ran as fast as I could to get there, and she rescued me. She had no idea that she was, but I got to her, and I was breathing so hard, and she said, "What's wrong?" And I told her the situation, but she rescued me. She got me out of the trouble that I was in. Mental rescue. Man, we can go down some dark paths mentally. In 6th grade, I tried out for a select basketball team, and I didn't make it. I got cut. The coach's son made it. There were a couple other guys on the team that I thought I had a better tryout than, but I didn't. I felt cheated. I felt like they didn't want me. I felt like they were against me, and it sent me on this dark path of not feeling good enough and feeling like a failure. And when I stepped back, when I could step back and process what was going on, I was letting the circumstance define me rather than letting God define me, because who I am in Christ is constant. It doesn't change, right? I didn't feel wanted by that team, but God says, "Oh, you are so wanted." 1 Corinthians 6:20. I didn't feel loved. I didn't think they loved me. That was the route I went down. But God says, "Man, I love you so much." Romans 5:8. And I didn't feel accepted. I felt rejected. But God says, "Man, you are so accepted. I accept you." Romans 15:7. I still struggle with that mentality, but I know that that's truth, and I know that the truth will set me free. And it did. When I could believe that and take the view of who God says I am rather than the people or the circumstance telling me who I was, my whole perspective changed. Because I saw the value that God has towards me. The last one is we need spiritually rescued. This is the ultimate rescue mission of all time. We are dead and separated from Christ because of our sin. But God sent his son to be born, to die, to raise again 3 days later, to create a path of rescue for us, to be able to spend eternity with him rather than separate from him. So physical, mental, spiritual rescue. David was pleading for this. Rescue me because I need help. And that's all God is asking for us to do. is to ask Him. Prayer is one of those things that God has given us to communicate with Him. And I want you to take some time, and we're going to keep this very simple. What do you need help with in life right now? And I want you to ask God and believe that He hears you and that will help you. Take a moment to do this, and then I'm going to come back and wrap us up with some closing thoughts. So the main thing that I want you to remember is just to ask for help. It's a simple concept, but we need it. Whatever it is you're struggling with, whatever it is you're dealing with, God is there to listen and to come alongside you. You can express your thoughts, express your hurt, express your pain, and say, God, I need rescued. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to do that, but will you show me? Will you help me? How have you helped a friend before? And I want you to think about that because it's just, it helps you get an idea of how God can maybe help you. But then how does God help you? Let's really narrow it down and identify how God comes alongside us. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll talk to you soon.